Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be taking a look at this little 1/18th scale little four-wheel drive truggy by HOSPEED. And this is actually looks like a pretty cool little car. I've driven it around inside of my house. It handles quite nice and seems like a pretty cool little brushed RC car. It's not a brushless one, so it's not going to be super fast, but you know, these little cars of this size can move along quite nice on even a brushed motor, and I believe this is a 380 size brushed motor, so you ought to do pretty good on that. Before we look at the car, I'll just show you the box that it comes in here so you can see what it all looks like on here. You can see they have several different models. This is more of like, you know, a different body style here, and you got the four different designs here on the back like this, and it shows them like this, but though it doesn't actually even have my particular model listed on here. I'll put the model number of this up here if I remember to put it up here in the video, so you know which one this is, because it doesn't look like they have it checked on which model this particular one is. It goes with the name Storm or Thunder, the two different names on this truck. So that's all it is on the box, not much to go over there. As you can see here, it actually says Hurricane on this one. So this is even different than the Storm and Thunder names of this little guy. So there's not a lot much that comes in this box. You just get the car, you get the controller, and you get a little USB charger for the battery, which I'll show you the battery here in just a moment, because the battery actually is quite large. So I got the top already off, and you can see it's enclosed nicely here, so it's gonna be sort of, you know, probably not waterproof, but definitely gonna be dust proof. You got your steering servo here, here's your 380 brushed motor, and your receiver ESC is all stored inside of here. The battery actually goes here in the bottom, so it gives you a little more room than I have it all crammed on the top, but it's a little bit of a tight fit to get the battery and then get the bay all closed in there. It does use one of those goofy 2-pin black connectors, but you might want to swap that out for a more traditional, you know, red JST or a Dean's plug or something, if you would choose to get extra batteries or have some laying around with different connectors, or if you want to go with a LiPo, which would be quite nice, because this does use a 2-cell lithium ion. This is a 7.4 volt 1200 milliamp hour lithium ion battery, so you know, you give it pretty good kick. Though, like I said, you could certainly find a 2-cell LiPo to stick in here, but you're probably going to have to, you know, swap the plugs out and not use these. So 1200 milliamp hour, you got to get a good long run time out of this, so that's one thing I would expect. And like I said, if you go and go with the LiPo, you certainly can get a little more top speed and a little more acceleration on this thing. So the charger, you know, just uses the balance pin. It's going to be quite slow to charge this 2-cell lithium ion battery, so I'm expecting this thing to take probably a couple hours to charge that if you use the provided charger. This is gonna be tough to charge the hobby grade with this, you know, this particular plug, but if you were to swap this out to a Dean's or red JST, something like that, you're gonna have no problems charging this guy on a hobby grade charger. The shocks are just friction shocks. They are not oil filled shocks, but they ought to get the job done for a little car like this. But you certainly could swap this car out for some oil filled shocks. It looks like the dog bones here, I think those look like those are metal. I think so. It's kind of hard to tell here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's metal. It does have it, like I said, it's four-wheel drive. It does have a differential that they are really loose differentials. We'll see how that affects stuff. They spin very freely. I believe it also has ball bearings, which so much stuff does have that now. That's always a plus. Longer run times, higher top speed when you have ball bearings. Here's your on and off switch here on the side. So a little bit of red on and off switch on the side. So that's all you get in this little guy. There's not much in the box, just the car and the controller. The battery was already installed. You get the charger and a little instruction manual, which I will show you here. The little HOSPEED instruction manual. Not much to it. A car like this is going to be very basic. Let's look at the controller. It does have a nice little foam grip. It is proportional. The steering radius on this car is not really big, and you cannot adjust it. You can only adjust the steering trim. So you're stuck with the preset steering radius, but you know, it's sufficient. It's not as good as I'd like, but I had no problems driving it around on the lowest speed in my house because it's all proportional. Steering, throttle's all proportional, which is what you want. That's ideal. You don't want those little ones you have to adjust underneath the bottom of the car are a pain. I'm happy to see that this is proportional. And like I said, I drove around my house and it was just a piece of cake to drive around, and my daughter chasing it and have a lot of fun. So it worked out really well. So this is my first drive with it outdoors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive it around here in my backyard to start out, so I can go over these rocks and stuff. You know, this grass looks short enough. And then I'll probably take it out front and we'll continue the video so I can do some speed runs on the street to see what the top speed on this guy is, because as you can see on the box, it says 36 kilometers per hour. We'll see how that, if it looks like that. I don't know offhand. If I remember, I'll put up here what that is in miles per hour. I'm thinking that's probably going to be in the 15, 20, something like that in its top speed. I don't know if it's going to be that quick. But you know, 1/18 scale, these can move along quite good because of their small size. So, you know, we're just going to do this quick all-in-one review today. I decided not to do a table review on this because there's just so little with this. Let's just shorten this video down, consolidate it into one video, and we'll just do everything at one time, guys. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the video, put the battery in, because it takes a moment to screw that battery door on the bottom of the car here. So I'll get the battery installed. You do have to, I would advise putting that screw in so the door doesn't pop open and the battery comes falling out and drags around. So I'll stop the video here, get the battery installed, power it up, bind it, and we'll take it out for a test drive. So be right back, guys. All right, guys, so I have the little HOSPEED buggy now bound up, as you can see here, and it's ready to go. I did have a little trouble getting this powered on. I think it could be an issue with the plug on that lithium-ion battery, so just be mindful of that. It's probably just another reason to swap the plugs on this to something more traditional. Dean's plug might be a little too big inside that compartment, but you should have no problem if you go to a red JST, which the red JST will have no problems, I don't believe, with this, you know, current, you know, setup on a lithium-ion battery. So let's go ahead and let's take it out now for the test drive. It's a little bouncy there, but it moves along pretty good. You see this, the yard's not real thick here, but it has no problems. It actually moves along better than I expected it would. Like I said, I've only driven this in my house on, you know, carpet and linoleum, hardwood floor, stuff like that. This is doing really, really well. I'm liking this more and more here as I'm just starting this out. There's a bit of delay, as most of these have when you flip it into reverse, because obviously, as I did there, it brakes. So whenever you apply, you know, when you push forward on these cars, that applies the electronic brake. Then there's that delay as it waits to see then if you want to go into reverse. So it doesn't, the reason they do that is so you don't slam it into reverse and strip gears like the old cars used to do. The ones that didn't have electronic speed controllers, you could just slam those into reverse and you'd strip gears. So no problem with these rocks here. Now this is better than I expected. I wasn't really sure because inside it worked really well. Obviously it's not super fast here, but you're not going to get too many 1/18 scale brush vehicles that are going to be any better in this grass and any better speed than that. Let's see if we can get it to go in reverse. There we go. Yeah, this does really well. This would be great for, you know, a 10 to 12-year-old boy. Fast enough to keep him interested. It's not boring, it's not slow, but it's not crazy fast where you're gonna have to worry about him busting it real easy. No problem here going through these rocks. Just plowed over those big rocks. Did good. Like I mentioned a while ago, you could upgrade to oil-filled shocks. That might be a first upgrade, but I don't really know if it really needs it. It's not overly bouncy. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. I think these friction shocks are just fine. And this 1200 milliamp lithium-ion battery is going to provide a nice long run time, which is great. Because there's nothing more frustrating to a kid when you get something like this and you've got the battery going dead in 7-8 minutes, and then the kid's got to wait for it to charge, you know. We used to use a lot of cars, you know, years ago. They just took AA batteries, and that was really bad because it got expensive having to constantly replace the batteries. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Is I'm gonna take it out front now and do a speed run to see what kind of speed we get with this. I think it may have. I don't have any power to it right now, so it looks like maybe that plug's acting up. It did this a while ago. I'm not exactly sure what's up. So I'm gonna see if I can get it going again here, and we'll take it around and do a speed run with this. See what kind of speed we get. So we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. So it's going again now. I definitely have some sort of short in mind. I think it may be in the battery plug here. The battery door's bulging a bit because I got it's such a squash tight fit with that big lipo. So if it stops on me, it's because I've got some sort of short here, but it's what happened in the backyard. But I was ready to bring it to the front anyway to do its speed run. So let's hopefully see if we can get some sort of speed run in here and it doesn't lose power like it did a while ago. So let's set it down and let's go. That moves along nice. That's not bad at all, you know, that's pretty quick. I know I could use some steering trim here. Oh yeah, that's not bad at all. I don't know if that's 20 miles an hour. Again, I don't know exactly what that kilometers per hour. I should have checked that earlier to see what that is in mile per hour rating. My guess is this is somewhere in the 15 mile per hour range, is what I would guess. All these cars inflate or exaggerate their top speeds on these toys. Even my Maximus is rated at around 50 miles per hour, and the best I got was 41. So you can really get these little 1/18 scales a haul, though. If you check out my buddy David Grima's channel, Perth West Isles RC, he threw a 3S lipo in his WL Toys A959B, which does have a big 540 brush motor. He just went up to 3S and he was getting ridiculous, over 70 kilometers per hour. I think it was he was getting like 50 miles an hour or something crazy on 3S lipo on a brushed motor. So this guy's got pretty good power. You can see the yard here is pretty thick for the middle of summer with all the rain we've had here, so it's going through this nicely. I don't know, you could probably go 3S on this if you had a battery to fit in there and you swap the plugs. And you can see what this does on 3S. Just you might want to be careful running 3S a lot. You always worry about the heat or voltage causing it to smoke the ESC. I don't think there's any problem with the motor handling that. Whoa, that was cool. Nice to jump there. Yeah, see, like we just lost power. So it just all of a sudden will lose power. I don't think it's losing bind. I mean, I've had a car do that before. I had a WL Toys buggy that would lose bind. But it's acting like it's bound up still. I just lost all power. Let's see if sometimes if I just switch the power off and on this buggy, it will start to work again. Let's see if yeah, there it goes. Just turn it off and on. That makes me think that the issue may lie actually beyond the battery plug, because I can test the battery with my multimeter and I get a voltage reading on it just fine. So I think there may be something internal with the ESC receiver, and it's just flaky. I would not, I can't say for sure, but I would not expect that to be a common problem with this little car. I'd imagine it's just a flaky thing. You know, you get this stuff so mass produced in China that there's all this stuff does not have very extensive quality control. That doesn't mean it's not nicely built. I do think it actually is where they're nicely built. But you do get these kind of electronic issues. That's not an excuse, it's just a fact. So the point I'm getting is, if you would be interested in this truck, I wouldn't be overly concerned about having the same problem I'm having here. And it does appear once I get able to get it going here, just powering it off and on is usually all I need to do to get it going again. Kind of annoying though. But earlier I couldn't even get it, I couldn't get it to go, turn on at all. I tested the battery, and then it, you know, tested fine, so I was pretty sure the plug's okay. And then I brought it, the battery over to the car, plugged it in, and all of a sudden it bound up and I had steering. So I don't know what's up with this little guy. But I always want to let you guys, I want to be honest with everybody, you know. I'm not going to creatively edit this to make it look like there's no issues with the car, you know. I want you to be aware I am having this issue, electrical issue, which I just don't know what it is. But I wouldn't be overly concerned if I was interested. If I were interested in this car, I wouldn't be too concerned, because I don't think this is going to be a common problem. But I don't have, you know, I can't say that for sure, is what I'm getting at. Because I really like this. It's pretty quick, and even though the steering radius isn't really huge, as you guys can see, that's the extent of the steering, and it is proportional, as you can see here, and I can creep it forward, as you can see. So it's fully proportional throttle and steering. Perfectly fine to drive this indoors. Though there is no throttle trim on this guy. It's just gonna be your steering and your, you know, throttle. It just has steering trim is what I'm getting at. So you don't have any kind of dual rates. You can't set the steering to a smaller or wider radius, or the throttle. Some of them have that where you can set the throttle down so you can limit it for a child. This one, I think, is just the right speed for a kid. Oh yeah, that's nice. It really, that loose differential, it's got good traction, but at times it'll really let you peel out. I like that. This is fun. This is actually a really fun little car. And I think you could do some upgrades to it. You know, like I said, Go 3S would be the first thing you might want to try. Maybe oil-filled shocks. I doubt there's going to be the aftermarket aluminum parts or anything like you see in the WL Toys buggies, which are, you know, wildly popular. But yeah, my only real problem is I don't know what's up with my electrical in my car. Hopefully it's just a one-off fluke thing with mine. But that should wrap this up, guys. Just kind of all-in-one review today, since there's so little of this. It is boiling hot here, and I am just drenched in sweat, so I'm going to wrap this up. I am absolutely miserable. You might see the sweat shining off my arms. It is in the mid-90s and humid as can be. It is miserable out here. So that wraps up the review of the little HOSPEED 118 scale four-wheel drive truck. Hope you guys enjoyed this little review. And like I said, if you're interested in this truck, I'll have a link to Geek Buying. Oop, hit the throttle. Who sent me this for review? Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you know when I do upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a great day. The power of the dark side.